The Pineys, Event of the Year, presented by Brentwood.
Welcome back to the North Carolina Sports Awards, the Pineys, here on the North Carolina Sports Network, brought to you in part by our foundational partner, NC Pork, raising the bacon, raising the bar. I am Mike Waddell, joined as always by David Glenn and DG. We've already talked about some great coaches and athletes and teams tonight, but now it's time to move ahead to some of the biggest events of the year. And the nominees this year in this category, again, we've said it over and over tonight, it's absolutely packed with great college, pro, global, and even some grassroots events that make it very special to be a sports fan here in the Bold North State. Let's start in Charlotte, the 2025 ACC Men's Basketball Tournament returning to the Queen City, and this time it wasn't just a one-off. DG, how significant is it that this iconic event is now entering a 5-year rotation between two North Carolina cities, the Gate City of Greensboro and the Queen City of Charlotte?
Well, Mike, it's enormous for the college basketball fans of our state especially. The ACC tournament has been an integral part of our sports DNA since the 1950s. And with Duke cutting down the nets this year, it kicked off that 5-year Carolina-centric stretch with a bang. And after years of bouncing around to Brooklyn, Washington, D.C., even Tampa years ago, it's been refreshing for most to see the ACC recommit to its roots. Charlotte delivered another gem back in March, and that's on the court and in the community.
Now let's take it to the coast, Morehead City to be exact, for the Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament. DG, last year's Big Rock event was record-breaking. What made it so special in the eyes of the sports world?
Well, Mike, it started with 302 boats. For those who don't follow that stuff closely, that is a huge number. There were also 3 different $1 million+ prize payouts, huge numbers that any of us can appreciate. The Big Rock is already a legendary fishing tournament. Michael Jordan himself likes to compete there sometimes, but last year it felt like a sporting event on par with the Masters or Daytona. The size, the stakes, the spectacle, it was just a fantastic showcase of North Carolina's excellent connection to both sports and the sea.
Speaking of global, how about the Carolina Panthers taking the field in Munich, Germany this past November? DG, what was the impact of the Panthers playing in front of more than 70,000 German fans?
Yeah, that one just felt like a great cultural moment. For a franchise that is trying to find its next positive chapter, that international spotlight was massive. It reflected that the Panthers brand, and by extension, the state of North Carolina sports brand, it does often resonate way beyond the United States borders. And on top of that, it was an excellent stage for the NFL to continue to expand its global footprint, this time with the Carolina Panthers at the forefront.
Back on U.S. soil and into the beautiful game, Cary hosted not one, but 2 massive soccer events this past year. What stood out in the NCAA's men's and women's college cups and then the soccer tournament in the spring?
Yeah, Mike, Cary's Wake Med Soccer Park is kind of becoming the Madison Square Garden of NCAA soccer. UNC winning the women's title on home turf, goosebumps for a lot of fans. Vermont claiming the men's crown on that same field, at that same venue. Incredible story. And then you throw in the soccer tournament, which included stars and celebrities and $1 million prizes. That was next level as well. Cary was often the epicenter of soccer in the United States this past year.
And don't forget, our first ever event here on the North Carolina Sports Network was at the Cary Soccer Park with the U.S. Army Clash 2 years ago this August. So it is certainly one of the up-and-coming venues in all of North Carolina. Let's not forget about the world of golf, though, David. Quail Hollow, it delivers once again, hosting the 2025 PGA Championship. What did this major event mean for Charlotte and golf fans across the bold North State?
Well, Mike, when world number one Scotty Scheffler walks away with the Wanamaker Trophy right here in our backyard, that's a big deal. And when our state hosts the U.S. Open last year and then the PGA Championship this year, they're, of course, the only two golf majors that can be played anywhere in the United States. And we do that in back-to-back years. It's a really big deal for our state. Quail Hollow has proven it can host the best in golf, from the President's Cup to that most recent PGA Championship. The course, the crowd, the competition, the champion. North Carolina golf fans were treated to something really special once again.
And now the moment we have all been waiting for. The 2025 North Carolina Sports Award for Event of the Year goes to NASCAR's return to Rockingham. And after a 12-year absence, stock car racing roared back to the Rock, one of the most iconic and beloved venues in the history of all of American motorsports. David, tell us why this comeback struck such a chord with race fans across the country.
Well, Mike, with you being a North Carolina native, you probably understand this even better than I. And you and I and the North Carolina Sports Network were all there to see it in Rockingham as it unfolded so that we could speak firsthand about what a wonderful weekend it was. It was emotional. It was powerful. And frankly, it was long overdue. You mentioned that 12-year drought for such an iconic venue. That's a shame. Rockingham is considered by many sacred ground for NASCAR, and to see the engines fire up again after more than a decade of silence right there with thousands of passionate fans stacked in around us, it was something special. It was not just a race. It felt like a homecoming and a nod to the past and maybe even a hopeful look at the future of motorsports here in North Carolina. Earlier, Mike had the opportunity to sit down with two key figures from the return to the Rock: Bob Sargent, president of Track Enterprises, and Todd Mackin of Spire Motorsports, one of NASCAR's most exciting up-and-coming teams.
Letsoff gave Taylor Gray a pretty big shot there. So did Jesse Love in the back, and Sammy Smith moves him up the track. Oh, Jesse Love down in the back of Sammy Smith just a little bit.
Jesse Love drives through, takes the top spot. Sammy Smith is second, Harrison Burton up to third.
A ton of speedy drive there down on the backstretch, but what a move by Jesse Love. Used him up a little bit, but got to the bottom. Take the lead.
Once we get the white flag, the next flag will end it. We've got the white flag, and now if the caution comes out, this race is over. Jesse Love down the back straightaway. He was not born the last time the Xfinity Series came and raced at Rockingham. He's been good all day long, played the patience game at the front at the end. Jesse Love, second win of the year, comes in our return to the Rock.
It is time to talk about our event of the year, and it's the return to the Rock, Rockingham Speedway. It happened April 18th and 19th of 2025 when the Xfinity Series came back to the Rock for the first time since 2004 and the first time since 2012 that the Truck Series made a return to the Rock. First time for the ARCA Series and Mini Moon as well. And joining us to talk about this is Bob Sargent. He's the president of Track Enterprises, and Todd Mackin, the president of Spire Holdings, who also works with Spire Motorsports, Spire Hockey. He's Spire everything. Guys, I got to ask you, how did NASCAR make a return to Rockingham? Bob, was this simply asking for a date from the sanctioning body and cleaning up the track, or was there a lot more to it than that?
Well, I think that was the basic premise. NASCAR, as everyone knows, is always tweaking and fine-tuning their schedule and looking for events that the fans, sponsors, television, everybody really wants to go to, facilities. And we're fortunate enough to have a very good relationship with the folks at NASCAR, Ben Kennedy, and everyone involved, and are always in these conversations. We've worked with them at length in events like this. Went to, Knoxville, Iowa on the dirt. Went to Milwaukee for the first time in a long time. Cleaned it up, got it going. And so this is always in our horizon, looking for facilities. and I think we both had a conversation about Rockingham. Made a visit to Rockingham, liked it, thought it could be fixed up in time for the 26 schedule. NASCAR came, the safety, things like that had to go through the process, television dates, and all the process had to go through before a date was awarded. And basically, that's kind of what happened.
When you look at NASCAR here in the bold north state of North Carolina, it is truly the home state sport. And since Hurricane Helene and all the nasty things that went on with that and other natural disasters before that, the pandemic and such, there was money made available from the state of North Carolina to rehab a variety of projects around the state. And with racing, you saw money go to North Wilkesboro in Western North Carolina, in Central North Carolina at Bowman Gray, and also at Rockingham. Would this return of this iconic venue had taken place had it not been for the state of North Carolina and former Governor Roy Cooper jumping in and providing that money to this iconic sport?
Oh, I do not think so. No, it's a private ownership, Dan Levenheim and his group at Rockingham Properties, but they needed additional financing to renovate everything that needed to be done, paving of the track, safer wall, suite renovation, sewer and water. The list goes on, and it's a long list of things that they did. The state money tremendously helped, if not, as you said, that it needed that for sure. A lot of county and city support. So there was a lot of players that really went into this to help this over the line.
It was an incredible event. David, Glenn, and I had a chance to go with some of our partners from Atlantic Tire and Service, and we rode the Rockingham Express, the train by NC by train down to the venue. And it was almost like, and you confirmed this as we were talking before this show, that they just cut a stop right there in the middle of the track. It was like they just blazed a trail. It was a little bit of Lewis and Clark going on right now. Todd Mackin, you run the race team side of things and Spire Holdings. What kind of an impact does another North Carolina track, if any, have on the team and being able to attract more local sponsors along with the national sponsors through Gamebridge and others that you have with Spire?
Yeah, it was a fantastic event for us. We ran 4 trucks out there with Spire Motorsports. Didn't get the results maybe we wanted, but certainly it was awesome for us to be able to bring some of our local partners down. HendrickCars.com, which is on Rajah Caruth's truck, had a suite there. They were very engaged and very invested in this working. We had them as a partner for Track Enterprises as well around the event. But also it's just really great for an opportunity for our guys to be able to go race and then sleep in their own beds. And so when those opportunities to be close to home are there, it's great for family, it's great for our sponsors, and it's great for our sport. So it was phenomenal from the Spire Motorsports side and obviously from the Track Enterprises side, just seeing the grandstands packed, and for being the trucks in Xfinity to be the only thing going that weekend was really, really awesome for them. And it was just a really, really cool experience from our perspective.
I got to tell you, the 2 years I spent as a vice president with NASCAR at Richmond Raceway, our Xfinity race was lucky to draw maybe 6,000 people, and that was using some creative ISC math at the time. To see a crowd of that magnitude there at Rockingham and everybody just so excited to be there for what is the second division of NASCAR, that's a pretty impressive thing. Do you guys both think, Bob, we'll start with you, do you think that this could be the beginning of a long-term re-engagement between the sanctioning body and Rockingham Speedway?
Well, we sure hope so. I mean, the success that we had, and what the fans and again all the partners are wanting to see NASCAR direction they go. Obviously, they're going out on the West Coast, they're going to big cities, things like that. But for them to have enough vision to stay home and do some iconic tracks, I think we have a good niche for that. So our goal is to definitely keep this long term, grow it even more. Our sponsors helped greatly. North Carolina Lottery, Black's Tire, all the suites were sold, on and on and on. And we had a great staff that put it in it. So I talked about the local community and their involvement, both the politicians and just the support of the local businesses, the tourism bureau, the everywhere we turn was a positive, how can we help attitude, and that means a lot.
A quick reminder that all of my extended conversation with both Bob Sargent of Track Enterprises and Todd Mackin of Spire Motorsports will be posted soon right here on this YouTube channel and all of our outlets for the North Carolina Sports Network. Coming up next, we have certainly saved the best for last. The North Carolina Sports Moment of the past year, presented by Jimmy's. That's right, on the other side of this timeout, as you're tuned in to the Pineys, the North Carolina Sports Awards, here on the North Carolina Sports Network.